I was assigned to SHAPE headquarters in 1963. My first assignment there was with the Operations Division, and I learned of a study in progress, a high classification cosmic top secret study that had been initiated in 1961 to determine whether there was a threat to Allied military forces in Europe. The study was called for because during the early 1960s, even in the late 1950s, there were incidents involving high-altitude flyovers of large circular metallic machines flying in formation at a very high altitude at a very high rate of speed over Central Europe. We learned at the time that the Soviets thought they belonged to us, and we thought they belonged to the Soviets. And we and the Soviets had almost gone to war several times over these objects. Cosmic Top Secret is the highest security classification that the NATO SHAPE headquarters has. I believe they still have that classification level. It's the very highest level. It's above top secret. Well, Air Marshal Sir Thomas Pike initiated the study. It took 3 years. The conclusions were rather mind-boggling. The senior military officers in SHAPE headquarters were stunned by the conclusions of the study, which was called the assessment. When they concluded the study in 1964, they published 15 copies. They gave it the Cosmic Top Secret Clearance classification with an additional classification of Eyes Only and Need to Know. One copy was provided to the Secretary General of NATO. One copy was in the personal possession of General Lyman Lemnitzer, who was the Supreme Allied Commander. And copies were provided to most of the senior military representatives of the NATO alliance at that time. I think the German government knows full well what's going on. I think they're well aware of the assessment. And I know that there is a German agency at a very high level in the German Defense Agency that is involved with UFO research. Every major Allied organization and Allied nation in Europe has an office, an agency, a high-level representative who works on UFO research. The implications of the conclusions of the study were so astounding that the decision was made that they could not release this information because it would be terribly disruptive to the populations of Europe and the United States, actually to the populations of the world, that we were being surveyed by highly advanced, high-technology extraterrestrial cultures. One of the major conclusions was that one of those civilizations, the people looked exactly like we did. And that troubled the military people in SHAPE headquarters because it became quite apparent to them that these aliens could put on a suit and a tie or sport jacket, sit next to you in a restaurant, sit next to you on a bus, or walk up and down the corridors of SHAPE headquarters, and you'd never know. That troubled the generals a lot. The evidence seems to be overwhelming to me that we've had an intimate interrelationship with them for several thousand years. I have concluded, as has Zecharia Sitchin, that the human race has probably been seeded here by high-intelligence civilizations from other places. I think those who placed us here and those who have been intimately involved with our genetic manipulation and growth are interested in us. I think they're concerned with us. I think they are related to us. And I think that that's why they're so involved. One of the conclusions of the study was that there was a program or a process of some kind taking place. There seemed to be some sort of a planned and organized procedure unfolding. They had evidence from the study that this phenomenon had been going on for a very, very long time, and there seemed to be some kind of an intelligent plan involved. They never were able to conclude what that would be, but that was quite a concern to the senior generals because they didn't even at that time know what the motives were for these extraterrestrial intelligences. I've been studying this phenomenon for over 30 years, and I'm convinced that we're reaching a point where not only do we have to educate the people of the planet, but I think the aliens themselves are going to make themselves known before too long. Well, there's a danger that the public would panic if they haven't been educated, if they haven't been given some kind of an inculcation, some idea of what's going on. And that's one of the reasons why I've decided to speak out about the matter.